a trail that goes up the Eagleman Canyon. It goes up to Gog and Magog, and it also goes over to the Eagle Mountain Trail. And I think I don't know this for sure. I actually asked Gary Pearson in a text message. He didn't respond. Asked him if he knew anything about it, but it's apparently what I think they're doing is they're trying to channel people to cross the tracks in one place instead of like go up and down the tracks and try and find the trail on the other side. Everybody will just go one way, cross the tracks, and then they'll be done. They won't have to worry about it. I think that's the reason why they did that.
Not too long ago, we did semi-permanent easement across their land, Eagle Mountain. I wonder if that spurred that.
No, because
We
Eagle
renewed it.
Mountain
We
is
renewed
way
it.
over by the Intamin Trail, over by Spring Street. That's complete.
A different easement.
But yeah, it's a different easement, but that trail connects over to that trail.
Oh,
It's all, there's trails all connected in there.
Via the COG property, which
Via
is,
the, yeah,
so does that make the Upper Ruxton Trail legal now? Because they've had that illegal forever. How does that affect the residents?
Upper Ruxton Trail, which, what do you
You're
mean?
talking about, this is at Upper Ruxton, right?
Right, it's the track, if you go on Ruxton Avenue to the very end, there's
All
a
the way
gate.
up.
And that's the marathon course and the ascent course. If you keep going, that's all now Colorado Springs Utilities property.
So they're cool with people being up there.
Colorado Springs Utilities is cool. There's no trespassing signs like there used to be.
Okay,
So yeah, you can go up there on the marathon course and everything. But the issue is just before you switch back, you get back onto the BART trail,
right.
there's that new, it's not really even a trail. It's kind of a way. It goes down to the creek. It's pretty rough.
Yep.
Then it goes up to the tracks.
Yeah. So that's what they cleaned up.
and that's an official trail and okay beyond. That's,
I don't think it's an,
I don't know.
I don't think it's a, I've never heard this an official trail. Have you?
Yeah, I don't.
well, that's
know.
what it, my husband saw it. He's the one who was questioning. And so he looks over and it's nice maintained but the trail going up is really steep. So I don't think it's.
But they've even built stairs
Do you
going
have
up
a
to the
contact
track.
you could ask about the legality?
Well,
of
like I
that?
said, I asked Gary Pearson, who's in charge of COG. He didn't respond, but I suppose you could ask Ted. But yeah, I haven't followed up on it, but it probably does need to be followed up.
Basically, I mean, it's all private property though, right?
Yeah. It's not all COG property, it's utilities property because of that trade that they made. Utilities now owns that land until the tracks. Well, actually, maybe to Ruxton, I'm not sure exactly where. Ruxton Creek, maybe.
So that's something maybe look into is what's officially going on with that.
Steve, I'll look into that. You look into it and let's
Yeah.
touch base. We
I'll
find
try
out.
to ask.
Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, I don't think it will have much to do with us, but it would be good to know with our.
No, thanks.
drilling employee or whatnot.
Right, it just looked so nice that he's like, what is this? And so maybe other people are seeing that too and so.
Yeah, if you want to, you can go on that trail, go up to the tracks, then cross the tracks. And then you'll be on that trail system I'm describing that goes, it switchbacks up real steeply.
Yeah,
And then you can go to the, it goes up to a junction. You can go to the right, it'll take you over to Gog and Magog.
uh-huh.
Or you can go to the left, it'll take you all the way over to the Eagle Mountain Trail. And then down to Spring Street.
Yeah, so it just sounds like that's something on our radar.
It is kind of on our radar, the Spring Street.
Well, Eagle Mountain on
Eagle
Spring
Mountain.
Street, yeah.
The thing about the right of ways over there, I believe those are 3 years. And they renew after 3 years. So it's an odd place to go and sink money into building trails. It's no long-term commitment.
Wonder what it would take for us to get a permit.
Yeah, that's a good question. Right now, probably one step down in Spencer.
Spencer's no longer with.
Oh,
Oh,
he's not there.
Next down is Ted.
Okay.
Oh,
Because Mike Meyer
Gary
did the
is way up.
negotiation.
Yeah.
The with the Broadmoor, whatever that place is.
Yeah.
Cool. Are you friends with those people?
I wouldn't say friends. I have Gary's cell phone. That's how I was able to text him and ask. But yeah, I mean, we're acquaintances.
Would you be in a position to ask for a friendly favor? Or should I do it?
Probably you should do it, but I mean, I can.
Well, I
broach it.
want to kind of open the door to a permanent easement, and you're hesitant to say you're friendly with them. So I didn't want to
Oh, yeah,
send the wrong guy to talk.
I'm mostly friendly.
Would you send me their number?
Probably Ted would be the person
Okay.
to contact.
That would be great.
The reason I have Gary's text or cell phone is because the cog was making a lot of noise, working on the tracks right across from my home.
Yeah.
And I kind of agitated a little bit about it when I was on city council, and that's how I got his.
Let me do the chat with them then. And we'll see where it goes when it comes time in our next easement.
I was in a couple of meetings with Gary.
Even better, way more tactful. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, Robin. Thanks for bringing that up.
I just sent you Ted Johnson's email.
There you go. How about this, guys? Why don't we get through this? And then once the show starts, we'll grab food. Is that cool? Stuff done. We can sit down and watch. Parks and Rec Advisory Board Parab update. Anybody have any questions for the Parab guy? Anybody have any comments? Parks Manager report.
So I've got the Renby project is currently ongoing. It should be finished by the end of the week. I haven't had any time to go look at it yet, but I'm sure it's going well because I haven't got a pump call.
The Red Mountain one.
Yeah, so no news, is really good news. The Mile High Youth Corps walkthrough was last week. That went pretty well. It was pretty successful. We evaluated the projects and it seems pretty obtainable. That is, the ground is not super frozen by then. So it's kind of playing it by ear to closer when we get there, but we can reschedule for next year.
When are they talking now?
The first 2 weeks of November. So, and then the last thing I have is I'll be attending the Colorado Springs Trail Symposium next week, which is facilitated by the city over there. With, exciting opportunity.
Awesome, man. Thank you. New business. Number one is Emma Crawford Memorial Proposal on Red Mountain. Did everybody see the application? I think this is the first application we've ever had. We just went through the process. Cheryl's here for the record. Skylar, do you want to tell us about this?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I'll just say Corey has approached the city several months ago, and we were looking at a couple different locations within the parks. And Parab reviewed his application and voted to not approve the location request. So this request in front of you is to install a memorial on Red Mountain, kind of that intersection of Red Mountain Trail and Intamin Trail. So ultimately, it is city council's decision. So OSAC and Parab both make recommendations, and then we go to city council for final approval. So I'll turn it over to Corey to talk more about his application.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to start by thanking Skylar Beck and the members of OSAC for letting me speak tonight. As most of you know, I'm here to propose a memorial for Emma Crawford. We have a letter of support through the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Jenna Gallus and Leslie Lewis. There is a lot of interest in the real Emma Crawford, as our petition with Friends of Emma Crawford shows, with currently close to 40 signatures of shop owners and employers who support the memorial. The proposed location at the Red Mountain Trail ties the legend to the woman, as Red Mountain is where Emma had requested to be buried when she passed. The memorial would honor her, the real Emma Crawford, one of Manitou's most famous residents, who brings so much yearly to the town. We already have, I'm sorry, we already have the base red stones. They're 14 by 6. That stacked 5 would reach 30 inches high, table height. The stones have been donated already, so the only cost would be the install and the top plaque. We have found a black granite that would work and have the inscription as well as a picture of Emma etched in it. The Heritage Foundation is also on board with this, and it would add to Manitou's rich history. With the support shown by the Chamber of Commerce and many of the town shop owners and employees in agreement, we trust that you will make the right decision regarding Emma's memorial. Thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Where exactly is it? We're all pretty familiar with it.
Yeah, do I have that picture?
This picture?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's right where that other sign is. That signage is for the mountain. Is that
Oh,
correct?
okay. Right
Yeah,
there.
trailhead sign.
And then this is the picture that we would have on the memorial, because the point of this is to represent Emma as the real Emma and not the Halloween Emma. So it'd be with the black granite that we looked at, they can etch the picture on it as they can with some of the signage that you would be able to look into for us.
Yeah, the thought, I don't know if that picture made it in the packet or not, but
Mm-hmm.
you've seen those signs all over town. It's like site specific, those spa buildings. You know, they're all over town, memorials for historical sites and things. So this would be consistent with that. That's what Corey's proposing.
So they're stacked and it would be table height. And then at the top, we have the angled piece and then the placard would go on top of that. And the inscription is in the letter of support. So you can see that as well. That can be modified, but we were really limited because you're only allowed so much to put on that. So, but I did tie in the coffin crashing down to the coffin races, which we really want to associate the two together. This is the reason why we have the coffin races. So.
Does anybody have any questions right away? I'm looking up. Or comments or thoughts?
Did it have like the date of when she died? I know that there was, is that one of those things that we can't put the date?
That's
in?
one of those things we can't put.
Oh. okay.
Yeah,
See, and
unfortunately.
I like knowing when.
I
people
do
were.
too. So what I did is in the letter of recommendation, we had that she died in memory of Emma Crawford, who succumbed to tuberculosis at the age of 28. Her life is celebrated with the annual coffin races after her own coffin came crashing down Red Mountain in 1929 rainstorm. So I'm kind of giving them a time frame. It didn't happen in the 50s. So
Yeah.
that kind of, you know, I tried to work that in,
Yeah,
but we were
that's
really limited on what you're not
what you-
allowed to
what you
put
could on
birth
there,
and
yeah.
death date.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
but yes, that
That
kind of,
was.
thanks. Anybody else?
Skylar, did all this meet everything? I thought there was something about pictures. Can we have pictures? Is that, am I imagining that, or was that in the 2 years of discussion we had about the memorial bench? We've talked about the memorial bench for literally years.
Oh,
So that's why I was asking. Like, we came up with like a plan,
Mhm.
and I wanted to make sure if this, and I'm trying to look
You
up
know,
a memorial bench.
the memorial that's right out front here in City Hall with the stacked stones, the stacked blocks. That's exactly what we're going to use. These
Well,
are,
what I'm saying is we, as OSAC, came up with a completely different set of rules and regulations. And it had a lot to do with the wording. It had a lot to do with pictures, I think, on it, sizing,
Mhm.
because we had a different idea of what we wanted for memorial benches in our open space.
Mhm.
Do you know, where can we look at that?
So we do have a memorial bench application on our website. So what Para does, yeah, so this actually falls in line with that because it's a memorial application. So maybe it's not a bench per se, but Para uses it for more public art as well, like that they get proposals to install art in their parks. So that's why I had Corey fill out that application, and that's what you had in your packet.
But I know we spent a lot of time making our own open space specific someone suggested we use Parks and Rec and we said, no, don't want that.
Yeah, that's what we have on our website. And I believe that's what Corey filled out.
Yes.
But I'll double check that.
Those are the donated blocks, so. And I think that a memorial would be more appropriate than a bench.
Well, I guess what I'm concerned about, this is me personally, not
Mhm.
speaking for the group.
Mhm.
We spent a lot of time making a plan for open space. We have people waiting on hold who are, actually living members of the community, wanting to memorialize an old mayor, and we wrote this specifically for certain things. I can't find.
It's under, I can send it to you.
You
And
see the
have
open space
OSAC
one?
Memorial.
Where is that?
I'll just send you the link. But I think that that's an appropriate thing to have a memorial application. Bench application.
Right, but I think we were trying to get away from memorials. And we had our own specific on our property, OSAC owned property.
I just sent it to you.
Okay.
Really trying to get away from memorials. I don't think we ever talked about that.
Yeah, I know it was
Maybe
specific,
people
so
have
that's what I'm
particular-
looking for.
But I'm bringing this to you currently, and you're saying it took you long enough to get the bench through. I'm bringing you
No,
everything.
Not the bench process. We made a new
I
process.
know the process, believe me.
So Shannon, it's here. We've got it all on our website. We've got it all
I'm
on
not
our
trying
web.
to fight or argue. I'm just saying we spent a long time on a process.
Right, and no one told me that.
I'm just trying to-
coming in here tonight,
You could be totally right. I'm just trying to double check. Sure.
and you're trying to hold this back. That's
So,
what you're doing.
hey, Corey, let me jump in here. So on our website is an open space advisory committee memorial request application. Okay, there's guidelines, there's policies, procedures. Judy and I actually put this together. OSAC adopted this months ago. I want to say February or March.
Yes.
It has been on our website since then. Corey completed the application page on 4 and 5. So
I've completed 2 of them.
in my mind, this is a legitimate application that OSAC needs to act on today. So we can take it to city council next step. So I would like to hear from OSAC members. What are your thoughts on Corey's proposal? And let's make a recommendation to city council.
Anybody?
I like it.
Yep, I think I'm good.
It's nice. I like the short.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think she's a famous enough character, Manitou, that it won't cause an onrush of everybody.
She is one of the most
Their
famous residents of Manitou,
brother-
and she brings
Just let
so
me
much
finish. Let
revenue.
me
every
finish.
year.
Let me
Of
finish
course.
talking.
Of course.
But I think it's a special case. I think it's worth doing.
Steve, you're cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Cheryl? I'm not gonna die on this hill for sure. However, I don't think it's a thing we want to start doing on open space, but it sounds like it's gonna pass. And
Okay,
that's great. I'm not gonna die on the hill.
okay.
It doesn't matter to me either way. However, as a committee, I don't think this is something we want to get in the realm of doing on our open space trails. I think this is a good place for anywhere other than open space. With that said, that's all I have to say about it. And you shouldn't take it personally.
Oh, I don't take any of this personally.
I think the
Skylar,
I think the placing is good because it is right at the Red Mountain Trail where she washed down. So I think it's great.
That's
And
part of the
especially
legend.
since Parks said, no, we don't like it. We don't want it in our parks. I think it should go somewhere. And I think it's appropriate to go on Red Mountain.
I think it's part of our heritage. And I think it's, the coffin races are a big event, tourist draw, everybody loves them. And so memorializing it at the actual place where her coffin came down, I think is appropriate.
thank you, so do I.
So this is our first one we've done. We make a recommendation to council, then it goes to council and then
Yep. So what I need from you guys, take a formal vote and then a letter of support. And Corey and I will take that to city council next. City council will act on it, yay or nay, and then, you know, depending how that goes, we take it to the next step to actually figure out logistics of the specific spots and order the materials and all that.
anybody want to make a motion?
Can an alternate make a motion?
Portion.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the plaque on Red Mountain.
Sure. You're a member tonight. How
Oh,
about that
that's
for the
true.
record?
Yeah, for the record, she's a member.
Oh, okay.
I think I was supposed to.
Am I a member?
Sure,
Oh,
everybody's a member tonight. So, that's
Full
Just,
voting
do you
member.
want a second?
I'll second.
all right. The alternates have seconded. Everybody vote. All those in favor say yay.
Yay.
TJ is listening from the crowd and he is voting against it. He is not saying why. I'll vote against it too, because it's going to pass. And I will write the letter, the recommendation of support.
Okay, appreciate it.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus TJ.
TJ is a
TJ 's
nay.
nine.
TJ is a nay.
Okay, so there's 7 total.
5 to
That's
7.
here
5 to 7. Thank you. Got to keep me in check too. I'll get that letter to you by then.
Okay,
Sounds good. So we are scheduled to take this to city council on October 18th. So this was the last item that we needed in order to go to city council. So
perfect.
I'll connect with you on that.
All right, appreciate
Corey.
it. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Do you guys want to take a break and grab food? You want some pizza, Corey?
Oh, no, I'm good. Appreciate it. You guys eat. Thanks again.
You guys want to do that?
Yeah.
Take a
Yep.
quick break.
Grab
get
some food.
And then Skylar will be up, right?
Yep.
Right.
A little bit, or just, it's like. Yeah.
Denise, did you get my email? Okay.
Can I reach out?
Yeah.
Say no.
You want me to do something similar tomorrow to council and boards? You want me to send something similar tomorrow to city council and boards?
Is that?
If you can wait till tomorrow, because I'd like to send something. Once you start.
I just saw the So I was actually, have you ever go back and look at the season? But I didn't know that we had so what's the name?
They wanted it out.
But yeah.
This park bench is probably. That's a. Would you be open to that? He said that was my last.
I don't
Red Mountain is at the very bottom.
You know,
Just a heads up. That might be a fun one.
I should say that.
Very in charge.
He is very. They have broad. It's called the Oklahoma City Corporation.
Yes, but
We have
so
several
speaking
properties.
across the board. Very good.
That's okay.
I'm gonna be a lot of time next. Maybe I can go over.
He's a delightful
Yeah, right now. I'm excited for
People who put it on, it's like a single player, so anytime we collaborate. Kind of reconnect a little bit.
Can you?
I don't know, sort of, but I know. Is the, yeah, I probably am sure.
Yeah, and they haven't, I think they opened it up.
And he's been there for a while.
I think so, yeah, I don't, but I know like Scott Abbott was my boss's boss. And that's his boss.
Well, you know, that is, yeah, I have an issue for people if guided, they're,
Yeah, he's.
you know, sent or guided to fill out like Paris
I thought it was a
form. And then they say, no, we don't like that, they're turning it down, and they come to us and say, well, now we have a different form. So that is a little bit of an issue. I think,
It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
yeah.
But that doesn't take much.
No. Yeah, the director from Position Design. She got a position with the forest. So they're looking to hire somebody.
I saw, you know what, I did see that River was hiring a new secretary. Yes. Yeah, which is that. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, Elizabeth. I went up there to take a look at it, and in my mind, I was thinking it was the weekend before. And no, they're working, and I didn't want to, interrupt. And I was trying to get my husband and son to volunteer, but that didn't work. So I went up and disturbed them, because I had the wrong weekend.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good. I didn't see a pickleball this weekend.
No, I was, not this weekend. I'm having trouble with my knee.
Oh, no. It was a great clinic on Saturday.
There was a clinic?
There was a clinic
Oh,
and it
damn
was
it, I
the
need clinics.
president of the pickleball association. And he is good. I played against him. He is good.
The black
Yes,
gentleman?
yeah.
What's his
It
name?
is like Joe.
Joe.
Joe something, yeah, that was fun to play against him. So it was good. We had
Where
about
was
18
this at?
I knew pickleball courts. And it was Saturday morning,
Here in Mountain?
yeah.
Where are our new pickleball courts?
Where the tennis courts are in Fields Park, they took one tennis court and made 2 pickleball, and they are nice courts.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And they're getting ready to do the paddle, we're gonna do hopefully some round robins and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It was fun.
My sister's really into pickleball. She has got me.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Got beat up.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, especially the knees.
Everybody told me that when you turn 70, that's when things start falling
Oh,
apart.
boy.
They told me that about 40.
They were right.
I went up to Jackson 2 weeks to hunt backpack with some 30-year-olds.
Mm,
They are freaking studs.
mm.
I'm like, oh. It took me like 5 years to get invited.
Wow.
Because they wanted to fill me out,
Yeah.
but they're like super big guys. I think they're so fit. I think they're gonna crush me. Like crush my soul.
Every other.
Well, you were hunting by yourself, right? Elks are big critters. You don't haul those out on your back.
Yeah, over like. Every day I hunt. I'm by myself. I have a hard stop. Usually like 11, 12, because I'm not gonna be.
Oh.
Not gonna do anything. So like.
I feel
out
like
there-
we should just move it down.
It happens. How are you, Steve?
I recommend this
Colin.
Are you both?
I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready.
I got a bite.
All right.
Are we gonna?
Yeah, so
We all have the.
your part. I can bring my laptop over to you and it's your part, Seth, if you want. or- Okay. Yes, everyone got that, so they should all be good.
All right, back to action. Keep eating. Seth's going to talk to us. Is this the kind of thing where it's going to be casual enough to where if someone has a question or comment?
Yep.
We can just break in with Skylar.
Yeah,
Basically going to be patting ourselves on the back.
that's right. We did a lot this year. It was a good year. As you know, Parks and Recreation took over management of the open space and trails as well as OSAC. And I want to really compliment Seth because he has taken that and ran with it and has done an amazing job on our trail system. I hope you've all seen that and just make sure to thank Seth because he's really, really just taken that lead. So our presentation, we wanted to share just a bunch of pictures and kind of highlight some of the things that we accomplished this year. And then we'll kind of move into segue into some prioritization, and Denise will kind of lead that part as we look forward to next year. So this time last year, we had a retreat, and there were a number of things that were brought up in that retreat that we wanted to prioritize for this year. So I'll kind of just run through that real quick. We wanted to work more on our trail maintenance program. So Seth will actually talk a little about how he has gone about managing that and some of the projects that he has taken on to improve our trails. Another thing we talked about was a management plan for open space parcels. So this is something that Dylan is actually working on. He wants to make sure all of the parcels that the city owns are appropriately zoned. So he gave me an initial list and I kind of browsed through it, and there's quite a bit more that's zoned open space than we thought. So it's not as big of a concern anymore to lose any properties to, you know, whatever, but that is something that Dylan is working on. And at some point we'll take that to city council to zone those open space parcels appropriately. So work in progress on that one. We talked about sending OSAC and staff to a COSA conference. That was in July. And Seth and I talked about going, and it just kind of came and went. And, you know, summer is so crazy around here. So that one did not happen. But I will say Seth has done quite a bit with the regional trainings. He's been a pretty active participant with Colorado Springs and some other trail groups to attend those trainings, and he can talk more about that later. Yeah. Yep.
And I think we've been encouraged for years to go to that. I think we have a budget, too, right? Does anybody remember being told about that?
The COSA? You're talking
guess
about the
I'm curious.
COSA conference? Or?
It's not going to happen. What's that? Said it was great. So like, I guess I'm curious, would OSAC put the bill for this person to go? Lodging too?
Yeah. So Denise, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's a city staff member, the city will pay for that. And we budget for trainings and conferences every year. And that includes lodging and per diem and all that. So if it's a city staff member, we take care of that. If OSAC would like to budget for that and send OSAC members, that would be a great use of your funds.
Don't we have it in our budget? Like,
We do.
quite
Yep.
a bit of money. So just keep that in mind. It's probably not going to happen for the stay-at-home dad, but other people, I have a feeling probably get a room for your spouses to go to.
I went to COSA like 6 years ago when I was with Boulder, and it's a great conference. I learned a lot. There's knowledge and expertise shared
When
from
is
all
that
these
at?
mountain towns. What's that?
What are the dates?
It's usually in July on the western slopes. I think it was in Crested Butte this year. They usually kind of rotated around
A great place for you.
All right.
in July. Yeah, that sounds nice. Okay, next thing on my list was Black Canyon Plan and a Colorado Springs relationship. So Seth and I have been in regular communication with David Diedemeyer with Colorado Springs. And that primarily is focused on Colorado Springs accepting those 3 parcels from West Side. And once that transaction has gone through, we can start talking about easements to get onto city property and further develop the trail system for Black Canyon. So that's still a work in progress, but I would say we have a good relationship with Colorado Springs, and they are willing partners in whatever we want to do and vice versa.
So Colorado Springs is picking up that west side.
Yeah, there's actually 3 parcels for that. Yep, but one of them is kind of a big chunk that would be a great easement for us. Yep. Next is a grassroots. Yeah.
Are you in touch with, John, Martin up there?
Not,
Cedar High?
it's been a while.
Just wondering. how
Yeah.
things are going.
We have talked to them in the past, and mostly it was about the homeless campsites.
Okay, well, that's kind of, we at least shook that up. Cleaned that up.
Yeah. I haven't talked to him since then, but I did notify him of cleanup day if he wanted to share it with his HOA, and that was the
So
last.
he hasn't reached out.
Nope,
Okay. Great. Yeah.
nope. Grassroots volunteer trail program. We have worked with the Manitou Cats on a couple of projects. Seth has led those volunteer days. Complete SOP. Nancy actually did that one. So I wish she was here to talk about that, but that is complete. And then Creek Walk Trail, you guys were involved in that. It's probably time to do another update on that project to you, maybe at our next OSAC meeting, but that project is underway. I believe they're bidding it out right now for phase 3. So that's exciting that it is progressing.
That pool to the chamber.
Pool to chamber. Yep.
Any idea when that build might start?
We hope by the end of the year. Yeah. So I believe it's open for bid right now. Pool to chamber, but we're also going chamber to Memorial Park, I thought.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's phase 4.
I don't know if this is the time to ask or not, but if we had talked at one point that we would have some kind of financial commitment to that portion, do we? That we might have.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe
thought
they're
that was
counting on
mixed
that.
up with the Serpentine. Completely separate.
Separate, yeah.
Talk, though, I it might or might not happen. That we would need to give money.
Yeah, I will get to Serpentine later, but the Creek Walk Trail, I think part of it is we're waiting to see what bids come in at. But OSAC previously budgeted for this project. So once we know the final bid numbers, we'll see how the funding shakes out. Yeah, we'll kind of see how it all shakes out. But I do think Dole, our city engineer, is leading that project. And I believe he's planning on coming to OSAC to kind of finalize everything. So we're all on the same page. Okay. All right, next slide is just highlighting some of our accomplishments this year. Obviously, we had the 2 big acquisitions of the Serpentine property and the Idle property. The costs of those are on here. Creek Walk is underway. We have done a ton with fire mitigation in Deer Valley and also just throughout the community with our neighborhood wood chipping program. Seth will talk more about the trail improvements that he's been leading. We had a great cleanup day in the Black Canyon open space. The Iron Mountain property will be completely paid off in December. So we'll wrap that up this year. You don't need a budget for it in the future. A couple meetings ago, we showed you our interactive trail map. So I took a lot of your feedback and shared it with Emily, our GIS coordinator, and she's updating the trail map to make it more public facing. So I'm hoping in the next month or so that will be uploaded to our website and be a nice new resource for the community. And then we established the subcommittees for trails and open space. So I will kick it over to Seth to talk more about, yeah.
It was advertised online. It was advertised, Line 5 is on hold right now, pending some other items. So that is on hold until we figure that one out, but we was advertised.
It's 4 and 5 to Memorial Park.
It goes, yeah.
Chamber to,
And that will include the hydrological. Question on that, my understanding is that trail by managers who remain remain a trail. There's not. From the driver. You know that. Right, that goes through, yeah. That, I don't know. That is, not our property. We'd have to get easements and everything to go through, so people that go on it. Trespassing. And is the section from Shriver to the library that will be that plan? I don't know. I don't-
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I don't,
But
I'm just throwing out. This is now the time to have this discussion about other pervious surfaces, and I know they're more expensive, but concrete, wood, environmental filler, so it's time to have that discussion now. There's so many great products, I've just been Breckenridge not that long ago, and it's a whole new parking lot up there. It's a pervious surface, and it's just phenomenal, so I think that if we want to talk in this town, we need to be thinking about, not just slap concrete everywhere. So, food for thought.
Is that like accounted for on the bid?
The one that we're doing from phase 3, I don't know if that is or not, that's Shriver to Chamber. I don't know if that is the one from 4 to 6, which is the Chamber to Wichita. A big portion of that, I believe, will be on the sidewalk, I believe, and I don't want to speak on Paul's behalf, but it will be the sidewalk on Managed Avenue. So there'll be undergrounding utilities and doing those things as they go forward. But I don't want
I mean, all I can say is what they're doing with phase 3 and the whole Creek Walk Trail is just following the plan that has already been placed and approved by council and many advisory groups. So they're carrying out.
2008.
Mhm.
And there's a council now, and I just want to, I know that, I know it's easy to do that, right? It goes through, and we already talked about this, but, we have one shot to get this right. And like I said, since that council system was approved, there's so many products out there that are so much more environmentally friendly. Concrete is one of the worst things you can use anywhere, and I realize I use places like, for example, from Shriver to the Chamber, I walk out almost every day. For millennia, it's been a dirt path. I just would hate to see, us come. I don't know if anybody saw the elders comment in the bulletin, but she's spot on. That if we want more heat island, all we have to do is pour more concrete. So now's the time, even if just sections of it, where appropriate, where pervious services were considered, I think that needs to be looked at there.
Who is, I guess the question would be, who is the we that can change this now? Because I don't think it's us.
I think that certainly the city can look into it and put that in the bid. We could look at the price of the services.
I agree with you 100%. I was just, can we do
I
anything?
think council needs to really step up to the plate. Our planet is in crisis, and anything we can do. And it also fits into our core values, right? And so while I understand and I'm sensitive to places where we have to have concrete, there are places along this trail that have been dirt, they've been nature trails, and I think it's really important for us to preserve some of that.
I agree with you 100%. Is there anything we as a committee?
I think that is part of the reason that some of it is to be concrete is because of the
Exactly.
It's not just true. It's not a walking path, but it's, and I don't think any of us disagree with you. I mean,
Right.
Maybe somebody knows about the merits of concrete versus other things.
Well, can OSAC recommend to council that where we can do an impervious base, that we recommend to go ahead and do that, that OSAC is all for that. And then the city, as we go through and getting these bids, I would think as you literally get down to the I's and crossing the T's that say, well, right there, we can't because, and go from there. Andrea brought up a really good point, and these newer products, while they are more expensive, concrete's cheap, that's why everyone uses it, right? It's just an environmental disaster though. But even in sections, if we could use an ADA, thank you for bringing that up, just in sections, if we were to have a flood, like behind Shriver, from Shriver to
to just that little section, you know, that's El Paso's up there. If that were flood, you know, that was concrete, I'd wash right to the RV park. If you have a pervious surface, you're less likely to have that massive flooding going into areas with certain level of water.
What's wrong with just the dirt?
Well, that's what I said, but you know, I said I'd like to keep the dirt. But there are some, some people and several people on council that want it concrete all the way.
But you know, to play devil's advocate with that, I mean, I'm not a concrete guy. And I'm cool with dirt. We're encouraging people to commute more. And we're asking people, and we made that e-bike friendly. And we're encouraging that to be the commuter corridor. Concrete makes more sense for that. And I'm saying that totally as a devil's advocate because it kind of does. And the environmental aspect
Good
of.
points well taken. And I wouldn't recommend a pervious surface that wasn't ADA compliant and it wasn't, you know, roadworthy. But I'm also of the opinion that, especially where it trails and open space come into play, I hope we have this problem. I can't wait to have this problem where we have so many e-bikes already. When I'm walking, I can't walk with my 2 dogs on vast sections of the creek walk because there's these groups of cyclists. My opinion about that is cyclists should be in the street
Right.
because we want to decrease
Especially
the
e-bikes.
use of cars.
Right, but I mean, I don't want my
But so-
mom to ride in the street downtown Manitou. I don't want any older neighborhood. to
Right, but I'm just
negotiate
saying that at some point, we're gonna have to address that issue. If there's only so much space on, even on the creek, if you're walking, you've got dogs, you've got e-bikes, and you've got, those, not the skateboards, but the hoverboards, there's several people. We are gonna have to, whatever council it is, we have to take a look at that from the safety. Someone's gonna get hurt. I've already brought this to the issue.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have my
Well,
3-year-old on a
actually,
strider
somebody
bike.
already did get hurt, got hit by a bike with that.
So I guess my question is, this is already out to bid.
This section is out. to bid. That
Right.
doesn't mean that, you know, Denise can't contact, you know, who she needs to contact, and we can't have a discussion about it. That council saying, this is a priority, and we want to at least look at it both ways. What's the cost and what's the maintenance? Because maintenance has to be factored in. It is fairly easy to maintain. That's why it's so cheap. But do we want another heat island effect? So I'm just putting it out there for discussion purposes. If OSAC says we love the idea of having concrete all the way, that's group consensus. You know, but I'm just thinking now is the time before it's laid down, while the bids are going out, to have that conscious awareness of, are we doing the best we can for Manitou and the environment and our people that have ADHD, just kind of just to have that conversation. And other communities are doing this. They're doing their creek walks, and they're ripping up concrete and putting the services down, so it can and will be done. At least entertain the idea.
Did you say that the contract's already gone out?
It's out for bid right
It's
now.
out for bid right now.
I just sent an email to people to let them know that this conversation.
Yeah. And so that's how you get started, and I think to me, the citizens, the residents of this town should be the ones that weigh in, have the most power to decide what they want that to look like, and what they want our dollars.
We'll petition our council people.
All right, Seth, I think you're up.
So regarding to the trail improvements that we've made this year, the city took over maintenance. 2022. In order just to kind of get went this whole process, I was able to assess like all of the city-owned trails, infrastructure that's already here, as well as collaborating with the OSAC members on kind of the most important issues that are out there already. So through that, like kind of compiled my own maintenance list and merged with the existing maintenance log that was kind of already formed. Also created completed maintenance log with the city projects with a key code for insurance applications. That's on the OSAC shared Google Drive. With all of these, there's been a lot of like self-led projects by me on my own. I've led some of our crew with some crew projects, and then also been a part of contractor projects that we've talked about in the group, like with Griffey and Mile High Youth Corps, and also like Manatee Cats volunteer days. And I'm hoping for more city-led crew projects when we become more established and more comfortable with what we're working with. So if we want to start looking at the pictures, it's just a good example. It's kind of picture heavy, but like the first one here is like some rock armoring in the common erosion area. The second one here would be like a split rail fence installed for keeping people on the sustainable trail. Third one is showing tread work in process, kind of pulling out the existing tread that's kind of fading away on the side of the hillside. Fourth picture here is from our collaborative effort with the City of Colorado Springs and Rocky Mountain Field Institute. They hold the Pikes Peak Regional Crew Leader Training every year, which I attended this year, and followed up with leading volunteer days in order to get my crew leader training certification. The first picture on the next page is just some more examples of like all these pictures are like thread work that's been done through the city by either me or with a crew out there. It's really visually a dramatic change and from before and after. Down on the bottom, the first picture there is that's actually one of the first OSAC collaborated projects. I met with Nancy a lot and Shannon and Andrea back then in order to kind of get this sign re-envisioned for people to stop cutting up this hillside behind the trailhead sign here. It was causing the hillside to erode away. So we put up some split rail fence and designed this sign that instructs people on where to go.
Does that seem to be working?
It does, yeah. Yeah, surprisingly well. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's just, it hasn't changed. So that's not
Right.
Yeah. Second picture there is just the top where that eroded section comes out, that social trail that we closed down with the sign right there that says something along the lines of, revegetation is in process. It's an unsustainable route. Third picture on here is actually a volunteer day that I participated with the City of Colorado Springs on the incline property itself. So kind of interesting that it's in the city, but it's owned by them. So I wanted to help out with something local. This picture is the meadow area referred to on Red Mountain Trail. This whole kind of open area was the trail you can see was continuously getting wider and wider and wider because the water would kind of pool in this area, causing people to try to walk around it. And me and a couple of the crew members went up there in an effort to we dug this kind of stormwater conveyance ditch off the side of the hill to get the water drained properly off the side there, so it doesn't pool up in the meadow area, and reinforce the trail with some gravel. And so far with the rainy season this year, it looks like it did well. And the last one is a trail reroute project we took on. There were some individuals that purchased a property in the Crystal Hills area that the Intamin Trail actually encroached on their property. And you can see in the first picture where the trail kind of bends around, it was just that tiny little loop that went onto their property boundary. So what we had to do in the second picture is we used a process called restoration, tilled up the ground, reseeded with natural seed, and constructed a new trail that follows the corridor in between the two property lines in order to successfully connect.
So where is that? Because Crystal Valley Road is not in Crystal Hill.
Crystal Park.
Oh, yeah, right
Crystal
before the
Park.
Crystal Park.
Okay,
Where
You
that
know where
trail
the
because
is.
Crystal Valley Road is,
He's got it,
Way
it's, yeah, it's over by Red Rock. You know where the steps are?
Yeah.
Right before those.
At the trailhead
That trail
sign.
went off into their property just a hair, but it was enough to make it where they couldn't go to plane. So
Construction, I haven't checked out
they have a
in
big
while.
hole. So yeah, they're going for it.
Sweet, but I know that made them super happy and we're in our own lines of property, so it's a win-win for everyone. But yeah, another thing to mention is just like the partnership with other entities that we've gone through in just a short amount of time. We've partnered with the Rocky Mountain Field Institute for the current Red Mountain project that's being done right now. Also participated in that Pikes Peak Regional Crew Leader Training. Mile High Youth Corps is another entity we partnered with for a contract to work on Red Mountain Trail. Volunteer day with the Manatee Cats, Shanti, and those guys. And then, of course, the city of Colorado Springs, attending the Trail Symposium this week, and also crew leader training. That's all I have.
do you know anything about Shanti's plan to build that trail from the high school up to into the trail?
A little. Yes.
Yeah, we were involved in that. Yep. That's completely on school property though, so we didn't bring it to OSAC, but we did talk about it at a meeting a couple months ago. Yeah. It's actually a cool project. It's a school project, so they've got a class for outdoor recreation, and Shanti is leading the trail building with that group of kids. Yeah, it is flagged. If you go out there, you can kind of see how it connects. Our concern, and we'll address this once that trail is built, but we don't want people taking shortcuts and building social trails. So we've got a few key areas to watch for and probably put up some split rail once it's done.
Digging.
One of the switchbacks comes very close to the cemetery. So we plan on installing some split rail fence to hopefully for people from cutting.
And maybe a tree or two, yeah.
Everybody loves trees.
Any more questions for Seth?
I think it's great, man. I really appreciate the visual to see
Yeah.
like what we've done. I like how these retreats are kind of evolving. It's kind of a new thing that OSAC's been doing. First it was on a board and it was like a 5-hour meeting at the Heritage Center. We all just kind of figured it out. It's becoming more streamlined with like actual photos. That helps me a lot. I appreciate your work.
Yeah, and I feel like it's still, just in the beginning, it can only get better.
Right.
Can I ask some questions on specific spots and trails? On like the Inchman Trail, I think it's right above that field, the meadow. And when you come down and it's really steep and you kind of slide down and is there any plan to maybe, I think we try to stay away from stairs, don't we? Because bikes, but that part is wide too.
Correct.
And is there a trail for bikes and maybe stairs for some of us who are getting older?
Right, no, that's a perfect question. There's an excellent example of this at like Red Rocks Open Space, a project that Rempe did is kind of incorporating the best of both worlds in a wide section like that. You have a timber staircase and then kind of like a rock armored section for mountain like cyclists. So it kind of makes both parties happy. Or you could take that as a walking trail as well to just kind of protect like the surface integrity of that hill keeps, making ditches and it's very, very steep. So
And Robin, those
So
are
it's been-
exact things that we want to talk about priorities. Right.
Okay.
Isn't that what the youth corps is doing now? Oh, they're doing a different section. Oh, okay.
So I would really like to tackle that's actually like a great example of a bigger project that we're Slow down more in the parks.
And that's the kind of our big vision stuff that we talk about us as a committee having, like, we want this project. It's important to us.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
this is top and head
Yeah.
down. Okay,
Yeah, but that's kind of the idea of, these retreats, we're trying to get OSAC to be, that advisory committee and help direct our staff on, what's important to you and what we can get after, and let us worry about the day to day and try and figure out how to make these projects a reality. So kind of segue into our goals and priorities for next year.
well, the only other one, if we're gonna, for priority, so I was going up Red Mountain and there's still big gullies and it looks like there are big rocks and it just looks like that needs to continue because there's just a big gully and that just looks deep.
Yeah, so that's, I think, if I'm recalling the same section that you think of, that is one of the areas that Mile High Youth Corp.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say Red Mountain Trail in general is the worst condition of all of
Oh,
those.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're working.
Okay.
Okay, so on that last slide, Seth and I kind of put together a list of some goals and priorities for you guys to consider. Of course, we can add to it. And what I'd really like to come out of today is start ranking these, what's your top priority, second, and, Denise can kind of facilitate the second half of this meeting, but this is kind of our list. And, we just sort of started putting some things together, some things carry over from this year into next, and some things are new based on circumstances. So we now own a good chunk of open space on Serpentine.
let me break. it real quick.
Oh.
Also with the goals, don't think that these are the only goals and priorities. We, as a whole, get to say what we, like Robin did. I know everybody's got some passion. And tonight's where we want to get those on paper and see as a group where we go with that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, definitely.
It's not just
This
your
is a draft. It's not my goals. It's our goals.
Our goal.
So just kind of working our way down the list, and feel free to cut me off and tell me your thoughts on each of these. Maybe this is our discussion portion, but Serpentine, we now have great opportunity to have a trail connection on the west end. And my grand vision of this is Creek Walk Trail is already designed to go all the way past the roundabout over to Rainbow Falls. So this would be a great split off trail from there that ends up at Higginbotham Flats. So Parav is talking about doing a master plan for Higginbotham Flats next year as one of their top priorities. This is a perfect GoCo project. They love funding big trail connections, last undeveloped park in Manitou, like the trail plus the park would be a really great grant opportunity. So I do have a proposal. It's be about 50,000 to design just the trail, and then another 50,000 to design just the park. So just something to think about for you guys. The Iron Mountain Trail connection. This is the trail that Tim and Shannon and Seth and I hiked last week. What'd you call it, Tim? Oak Ridge?
Yeah, I think maybe Oak Ridge, just 'cause that's the kind of undeveloped road up in Crystal Park, somewhat.
Yeah, it splits off kind of around Oklahoma Street, right?
Down below, it connects up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, want to say anything about that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe if
Okay.
you want to share more.
Real quick. Anybody who was here trying to figure out where this was? Chuck Dunlap, he's a mountain bike coach. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he is a mountain bike
I think he was a coach of the Manitou mountain bike
monsters.
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
He brought this to our attention a long time ago, of trying to connect the school to the Inman, keep the kids off the road. So that, if you remember that conversation when it came up then, that helps figure out where it is.
Oh, That's where Oklahoma is, somewhere over there, then,
Yeah, if you,
oh,
just to get this oriented a little bit. Does everybody know where the old Inman Trail is? It goes behind the high school and then middle school. Anyway, there's a trail over there.
okay.
Used to be, there was part of the old Inman Trail. And then it wound up and came out right around Oklahoma. That's that cluster of, if you were going up Pawnee and just about a block.
I can pull it up here if anybody wants to look.
If you're going up Pawnee, you go left on South Side
Yeah, you
Road,
go
and then you
left
take
up
the,
there, and there's this cluster of little houses, really tight roads up there. It's a really cool Manitou-ish area. Well, there's a right on Oklahoma, which is right up at the top there. Just to the east of Pawnee. There's a trail that takes off. That was part of the old Inman Trail. So if you go about halfway down there, between Oklahoma and where the middle school is, there's a little wash that went up. And for some reason, it had a bunch of trees cut down.
Oh,
So, yeah, and I got interested in that. Then we started looking at some maps.
Here you go. If anybody wants to look at this, I have it pulled up. This. Probably
Yeah.
right.
yeah, okay.
This is ours. That's.
So we got to looking at it and realized that we could connect that to, there's a call between what's called Little Sheep Mountain and Iron Mountain. Little Sheep Mountain is just to the east of Iron Mountain. And the low point between those two, we can actually get a trail going up that connects into that. So we've got a connection, and it's very unobtrusive because it's all in the woods. So it's not going to be on in anybody's view shed. And I find it kind of a charming, I use the word charming area because I love that idea of you walk into the woods in one place and you walk about a half a mile and all of a sudden you find yourself in some place you really didn't expect to end up. And it connects up to that the potential for Oak Ridge, which is a road in Crystal Park, which could be a road that the kids came down. Here's the park. It's walking trail, walking.
Yeah. Or people up all in that whole area,
In that
Oklahoma,
whole area.
to get easier up into Minden. Yeah, if that's not a difficult trail to.
It also gives you, or at least makes you thinking of that road that goes down Crystal Valley. I don't know if you know.
No. We call it Crystal Valley Trail. Mostly on our property.
Without a map, I don't, it doesn't make much sense. But anyways,
But we try.
no, there is a Crystal Valley Road.
Yeah, right on. But there's a Crystal Valley Trail.
It's very confusing to me.
All we're talking about is in Manitou proper.
Okay,
okay, the point is we can get we can definitely get a trail in there, whether it's going to be a mountain bike trail or not, it's possible. It's very steep, but it's short too. It's pretty short, and it connects up to the old Inman Trail in a spot. So a lot of it is already developed.
So that'd be easy for the mountain bike group to meet at the high school and easily get over to Oklahoma and then up.
Easy is relative.
Easy is relative.
Well,
They might have
those
a-
kids are, I tried riding with them.
They wouldn't
They better be.
they wouldn't be going over to Oklahoma.
So let me back it up real quick. We're not, like tonight, we're not gonna say we want a trail right here. But we might, as a group, decide we want to explore a trail alignment next year. I don't think there's any way we can say right now we want a trail because we don't know if it's even feasible.
we need you guys to say, this is our top priority
This
for
is
next year,
interesting.
or this is a low priority for next year, you know, so.
So we don't have to get in the minutia of the trail. But we had Seth up there, Skylar, and everybody thinks that it probably could happen.
Mm.
And we all also personally think it might be pretty cool. I've heard from the mountain bike coach, like, hey, make it happen.
Okay,
For them, this was a couple
okay,
years
that
ago.
was, okay,
We've always wanted to get Bison from. to connect
Yeah.
that. That's probably not ever. So this is our only other way to get up
okay,
from the school.
okay.
So
This one joins Bisel's property, but we don't have to.
Oh,
We don't have to, we don't have to go on this property.
So
The point is to get some.
Yeah.
big picture.
Maybe let me get through the rest of my list and then you guys can add to the list as needed. So we have kind of a full picture of everything that we're, you know, debating for next year. So the next is Red Mountain. Obviously, we're doing the work right now with Rimfee, but there's at least 2 more switchbacks that need some work. So we would probably want to bring Rimfee back for that. So that's another big ticket project. Wildcat Gulch Stairs. I did apply for a GoCo grant to have the youth corps do that project. So we'll find out in the next couple weeks if we were awarded that. And then I put on there an open space and trails maintenance position. This would be a dedicated position funded by OSAC for a maintenance position that would be in the Parks and Recreation Department. This is just throwing it out there. In my ideal world, we would have a person dedicated to maintain our trails and do a lot of these projects in-house. I hope you see value in what Seth has brought this year alone in just a couple of months and all the great work that he has done. But Seth is stretched very thin. He manages all of our parks, all of our trail system, all of our open space, all of our pocket parks, and our mineral spring location. So it's a lot. And it's a lot for one person to manage. So that's why I added this onto our list for next year, as you guys, you know, because part of this is a budget meeting as well. We want to put budget numbers next to projects and ideas. Mhm. I see this as a full-time position. Yeah. So part of the thought behind that too was, you know, some other responsibilities of this position could be applying for grants, could be taking minutes for OSAC meetings. It could be attending trainings, you know, things like that. There's some admin work as well. And then we would add this person to our snow removal crew and, you know, have plow some of our new trails through town and, you know, just have more capacity to maintain our public spaces.
They were doing snow removal. Would we get money from another department to help pay that salary?
And not at this point, I don't think, since we're well into the budget process for next year. This would be a new position that would probably be fully funded by OSAC. And like, if we were to do it, I would pitch it as a 1-year fixed term position. That way you can reevaluate next year and determine whether it's needed or not, kind of do a trial period.
Their focus could be snow removal, just on trails, right?
Okay.
Because that's a big portion, you know, that's kind of the last thing that we do snow removal on. So they could focus just on getting on trails, with all of that.
I guess, you know, I'm curious, and I mean, it's all hypothetical, but I know it's easy to get pulled. Like if you have a guy who knows how to run a plow and there's a big snowstorm, they get pulled. And then all of a sudden it becomes a habit. Like this person is now mowing lawns too, and taking care of. I don't know that we want to, is that a thing? Can we say, no, that's not your job, or it's probably not us. I know we can't say that, but how does that work?
I would just say that would be on me and Seth to manage and make sure is dedicated to
And not even,
what is
even if
funded.
they gotta do what they gotta do, I would like to see OSAC get some money if that person used
Has the
another
time
capacity.
to.
I would actually say maybe it's kind of the flip side. Maybe there's a trail project and we need to pull another person to help with the trail project.
Fair
So
enough, yeah.
it's just more eyes and resources on our trail system. And we do have additional staff. A lot of these projects are 2-person projects, so we would be able to pull from other places to help with that.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I would say their focus would definitely be trails, so probably 90%. As I said, we'll bring other people to help with trail projects, so it's this give and take during crisis. If there's a
Right.
big storm and a snowstorm and all the limbs break down
You
again,
gotta do what you gotta do.
it's all hands on deck trying to make sure. But we don't really keep track of
Yeah,
every
that makes
minute.
sense. I just don't know how that works.
Yeah, but we take a lot of people to help with trails and everything,
What's the cost of both?
And you don't charge us.
and we don't charge you.
So I keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
So the cost of a fully funded position, I had that number. I want to say it's between, with benefits, it's like 60 to 75,000 or something like that. And snow removal is a good one too, because, you know, especially looking at the Creek Walk Trail, that could easily be plowed, but it's always very last on the priority list. And our residents use that trail so much on their daily walk. So
And like what we've all been, city, we're wanting to get cars off the road. And that is plowed, that. It's people
Yep. we do it.
commuting by bike.
It's, yeah, we can't plow dirt very well, but concrete would be a lot easier to plow. So. Okay, the other thing on my list is Black Canyon Master Plan. We talked about that already. And then Bowers Park Connection. This is something that Shannon and Seth and I looked at a couple weeks ago. Just another trail connection from, I think that one was from Crystal Valley Road up to Bowers
Park Road.
Crystal Park Road. I get those two mixed up.
Behind
I know.
Emerald, behind Emerald Valley.
We should think of a different name for that.
Jeez.
Okay, so that is my list. Now I'm just gonna turn it over to you guys and to Denise to facilitate. Please add to the list, take away from the list, whatever you guys want to do.
What do you guys want to do?
I'm okay, keep
Going?
going.
Seems pretty casual.
Should I make, so I do have one announcement for all you guys to probably be aware of. I'm not sure, this probably doesn't affect anything, but I have taken another job. I've submitted my letter of resignation today. So I'll be around for another month to kind of wrap up some projects and things like that. But I got a opportunity to take my family back to the Boulder area where we lived for 8 years. And this move hasn't been easy on my family, so this was a great opportunity to go back up there. So I took it, but it is bittersweet, one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. But I think it is the best thing. So I'll be the deputy director of the Highland Hills Parks and Recreation District. Not sure if you guys have heard of Water World, but that's part of that district. So I'll be managing Water World. It'll be fun. Thank you. Yeah, it's sad, but we're in a really good place. I mean, I can't praise Seth enough. He's done an amazing job, and I think you guys are in great hands. Denise's leadership and Roy, everything that I started, I wish I could have seen it through, but I know it'll keep going, and we're in a good place.
When is your last day?
October 21st.
This is your last.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Wow, I didn't realize that this was your last meeting.
Dang.
I've been putting you on this council like crazy.
Take me off.
You gotta get this done and this done and this done.
So I just felt like it needed to be fair and make you guys aware of that. So an official announcement, I think, will come out tomorrow, but since I got you guys and we're talking about next year, I want to be transparent. So sorry to bring the mood down.
Yeah.
Thank you for your guidance.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
We are kind of working through that right now. we didn't want to post until the announcement went out. So, and Skylar knows a couple people that might be interested, so we're working on a few things. We're working on some interim items too as we go forward. So, yes, we are definitely replacing that position. This is, as I say, the recreational program is really the one program that I think is dedicated to our residents. You know, the kids get to do it. The whole program that you built on the recreation is just huge for our residents specifically. And what he's done in the amount of participation has been pretty overwhelming in 1 year. So we'll continue doing that along with everything else, the trails, all of that. So yes, we will be replacing. It will be hard to replace Skylar. He's done a phenomenal job in so many ways. We'll be calling him on a pretty regular basis.
Please do. Please do. I hope so.
Say, you can take a week of vacation and come down and help us.
You got it.
But it's pretty exciting, everything he gets to take on. There. Just telling you today, it's a very big program. We have a board that's just dedicated to that. So that's really nice.
The sustainability metrics, I love what they do. I mean, that's a place where you'll see services.
Boulder. But they have concrete as well.
They do.
Yeah,
They do. They also
it has its
ran-
place.
They also ran Roundup 7 years ago, so we're
Yeah, they do a lot of really good things. Yep.
Will we be involved in the hiring process?
I don't know.
Is Para involved? in
We
hiring?
don't know yet.
Okay.
We're kind of looking at this and seeing what we did. Last time when Skylar applied, I think we had, do you remember how many applicants were? I said 65 applicants. So we're expecting.
I heard it was 160.
Okay, 165, maybe 300. There were a lot of applicants. And so we're planning to post it, I think, before the end of the week. And then we'll kind of see what happens and where we'll be working on the process and the interview
Shannon, you
process.
could do that.
So what we'll probably do, last time we had parents, we had Danu and the board chair of OSAC be part of the interview process.
Last time.
Last time.
I don't think OSAC was part of it.
Yeah, Nancy, I think, oh, no, because. you're
Mary
right,
Ellen
because
was.
Mary Ellen was, because OSAC was under planning. And whenever Skylar got,
Because we found out that he was hired after he was hired.
yeah, this, you guys were under planning. And so that's fine. But whenever Skylar came on, we put OSAC under Skylar after about 4 months. We put OSAC under Skylar, which is where it needs to stay. It's the perfect fit as we go forward with this.
Right. So I guess that would be, and we might address this later, if we are now under Harrow, is money going to start coming out of our budget to pay that position? Or should it?
Well, I think if I was to say, I think the one position for trails would be more important because we have that position budgeted.
Okay.
But having someone to really focus on trails, very helpful, I think, to make the progress that you guys want to make every year.
But I think what you're getting at though, is you budgeted $9,000 for admin support. And I think that had gone to planning in the past.
Right. But now it goes to pay for finance. I mean, it doesn't do justice, right? It doesn't do everything. But
Right.
It definitely helps.
But now it goes to a different, because
Well, now it just goes in the general fund, so that
Okay.
we have planning that it does, Skylar's, it does. It kind of goes everywhere what's needed.
Okay.
It doesn't like say, here's 9,000, it goes directly here.
Back in the day, they just made a really big deal. Like you guys are paying $9,000 for billing. So I've always been confused about that, but it sounds like the powers that be are.
Yeah, it's 9,000 doesn't cover everything that we do.
Of course,
to support
right.
OSAC, but it gives us an amount that is helpful. Just to do finance. Here, and do all the invoicing and everything else that comes with OSAC.
Right.
So do you want me to take over?
Yeah, Nancy has her hand raised. I
Yeah, Nancy's.
just barely noticed. Nancy, do you want to talk? You're on my laptop here.
Nancy? Might not.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Actually, this is just a test. I had a couple of comments earlier, but I think I'll just wait. And I'm really, really sorry to hear you're leaving, Skylar.
Thanks, Nancy. Appreciate that.
Yep. So now I know that I'm connected and I'm listening, even though it's 3 hours later here. I might not be too bright.
You're a trooper.
Here you are.
We'll see.
Move it over here. So
So I'll just raise my hand when I want to talk from now on.
sounds good.
Yeah, and Skylar just had a chance to tell staff today, so that's why it's going to all happen very quickly. Hasn't had a chance to tell Parab yet. So I would ask you guys not to go out and tell anyone yet. Keep this very confidential. I haven't told council yet because we were kind of waiting for things to move forward. So I'd ask that you keep it confidential until he has a chance to tell Parab.
I know how to delete things on Facebook.
Yeah. I really want to honor Parab too.
I'm not a big.
Yeah, I know, because Parab needs to know, but tonight was the retreat, so it just worked. In fact, we thought about not telling anybody until tomorrow, but because of this, he felt that it was appropriate to share that with you. And then tomorrow he'll be making an announcement to Parab and going from there. So if we can try to honor Parab as we go forward, that would be great. But I didn't want you guys to get the notice tomorrow. You're going, why didn't you share last night, right? So it was just trying to communicate it. So the rest of the meeting is really what we did last year is we talked about everybody kind of listed priorities, what they wanted to do, and then you did a vote. And we'll talk about what number Skylar thinks he can really do in a year. Nothing's worse than trying to do 10 or 12 goals. And you can only accomplish 2. And then council, or not council, but gets frustrated. And then staff gets frustrated and it's very defeating whenever you do that. So it's better to just say, hey, we're going to take 3 big goals and that's going to be our focus. And that's where we're going to put our money and our energy instead of 10 or 5 or whatever number Skylar believes is appropriate for that. I think it does, your goals can depend on whether you want to fund that position because that really does make a difference. And I don't know where you go with that. I have no idea. Skylar brought it to me. We took it to Jeff Parker to make sure that it could happen, the funding, those type of things. And it can definitely happen with OSAC funding if that is something that this team wanted to do. So that really, I think you do a goal with it and a goal without it, maybe, or you have some conversation. So there's already items that you have listed that I think we need to put up here. And then we'll just go at that point. So if it's okay, I'll just write these up real quick. So it's the Solar Team Master Plan. What's the other one? Iron Mountain Trail? Iron Mountain Trail connection.
Yeah, or whatever we want to call it.
I'm sorry, what? Red Mountain. Red Mountain.
Wildcat Gold.
That's already done, right? The Wildcat Goat Gulch, you've already put the grant in, and if you get it, that's a go.
Yeah, so the question is, if we don't get it, is
Okay.
this still something OSAC thinks is a priority and will pay for?
What do you think your chances are?
I don't know. So this is actually the 3rd year we've applied for this.
Oh.
And we have not been awarded, but I think part of that is because we applied for like 3 projects at once.
Okay.
And actually it was Nancy's advice, let's just go after 1, and we picked Wildcat Gulch. So
What's the amount of the grant?
it's 2 weeks of youth corps, which is about 20 grand.
And is it a full grant or are there any matching funds?
It's full grant.
Okay.
And you'll know by when you said?
I think, yeah,
December.
What did you say, Nancy?
December is when you'll know on that grant.
When? Oh, November?
You'll know about that grant in December, if
December.
you got the youth corps grant.
she would know.
She would know, Nancy would know. So I can put here December instead of October.
Okay.
Okay, and then you mentioned one, what did you put up here that you wanted?
Oh, the steepness on Intamin Trail.
What can we call that? Where,
That meadows.
like which side of the meadow?
The east
East
side.
side.
So east entrance to the meadow
Yeah.
up there. I help everybody.
East entrance to the meadow. Which meadow? Louis?
The big meadow on
Under Red
Intamin.
Mountain.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's right
On-
on, right
on
after
that
Where
the
the-
Red Mountain.
Where the
It's
dip
right
is?
there.
Yeah.
And I always
East
missed out.
entrance.
I,
It's-
It's actually this picture here. too.
I'm just gonna-
That's the
Yeah.
meadow.
That's the meadow.
But
right.
it,
So that is right behind where the picture is.
Yeah, I know what you're
it's
talking
just, it's, as you get off of Red Mountain Trail and you turn west, you've got to go down that steep section. It's right there.
It's the old shooting range.
Oh.
Hmm. Yeah, there is an old junk car with a bunch of bullet holes over the edge
And you were wondering what that
of
was?
the hill there, yeah. this is-
okay,
That
what
was my
else?
car.
What other items have you guys, I know you were discussing.
I have a little one that I'd
Okay.
like, we've been talking about noxious weeds. We've done nothing. Yeah, but that was last. Yeah, so I guess I'm curious, and I think we should discuss maybe somehow, I would like to have one of these goat people come talk to us. If we're not doing the goat, I would like to just hear about it. We've tossed the idea around, we've tossed it around. We keep talking about noxious weeds. It's in our master plans for every open space, but
It's not bad right now. I mean.
no, I don't think it is, but it would be cool to have some kind of a plan. If we could just have a goat person
Yeah,
come talk to us, I think we could knock that priority out of the park with a 45-minute presentation.
Well, and then we would know,
If it's even possible,
can we do it?
we can end it, be done.
Yeah, say that won't work or it will or whatever.
Okay, what else?
Have a go.
I don't know how to. I'm gonna just call it the Eagle Mountain Trail, something. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for like, I think that's a long-term project, but just maybe a real concerted look at talking to Forest Service, talking to, COG, talking to Bill Kerner,
Getting some kind of permanent easement.
Well, I don't know if that's the right thing to call it, but
I think that's the right. thing to
Red
call it.
Mountain, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we can be casual with our title of it.
Eagle Mountain Trail easements maybe is the first year, is that what you're saying?
Exploratory. Yeah,
Because that, I mean, could be, it's a big connective thing that like potentially could go to God and make God, not the Forest Service.
What else?
Oh, do you have the Bowers Park?
Yep,
Oh, okay, okay.
I do. Steve, I'll just go around. Steve, any others that you want to add?
Well, my big thing, I saw that mentioned last year's meeting, is that Midland Trail easement goes through the Jenkins property in between
Yeah.
Rattlesnake Gulch over to Mesa Avenue.
Yeah.
That's pretty big for me because it used to be open, you could go through there, and then Jenkins put up all the padlocks. And people in the neighborhood, that's big for me. That's a really big trail.
That's huge,
If we
yeah.
could get that. That would be part of the whole
The last I heard was.
trail around Manitou Springs. It'd be part of the Isabel Trail, the Creek Walk, the whole thing. You could have, we could have a trail circumventing Magic Springs.
certain amount of time.
What were you?
So the last I heard was, was that Kim Duray and Michael Mayo together had approached
Jenkins?
Jenkins, but I never heard anything about what happened and that was.
Well, what was supposed to
After-
happen, I talked to the mayor last year, and he contacted Jenkins. Jenkins was supposed to go to a meeting we were having with, who's the other one that has public?
Walton.
Walton,
Yeah.
yeah, and he was supposed to be at the meeting, he didn't show up.
Well, there's another player up there. I mean, yeah, I agree. We need to do something. We probably need to do it sooner than when Old Man Walton is gone. Because there's Adventures Out West is wanting to do a commercial on private property with Jeep dealers.
Really?
Jeep
Yeah.
tours?
Like that, you?
Greg Wellens said that to me. He's the one who owns Adventures Out West.
So
So
one of the things they were talking about doing is building a steep road up from here at Adventures Out
it's
West.
through Walton's property.
And then once you get up there on the plateau by Mesa Avenue, they talked about making a road going all the way over to the COG parking lot. And then being able to have, the cars would go one way up Brunson and then go back down that way,
And a
all the
road,
way.
and a road up to Long Range Road.
Yeah, but I think that's a no-go because, I mean, that'll never happen because people live up there. They don't want to.
So I'm gonna bring us back to
To the
here.
Midland Trail,
I
yeah.
have Midland Trail easement. So let me just go around. Shannon, anything else you want to add?
No, not yet, but I might think of something.
Anything?
No, right, well, top line.
I
Anything?
think I got mine out.
Okay. Do you have anything, Judith, you want to add?
Mine are already up there, and I love that Midland Trail. That's just a wonderful fantasy. I mean, I really think that the Serpentine Trail Master Plan is certainly up there for me. I agree that Red Mountain. I mean, that's in the worst condition. I think anything we can do up there on Red Mountain, it would be great. I would love to see more of a Black Canyon Master Plan come together. My only concern, and this is just me thinking about the November midterms, with regards to hiring a new person. I would just, if it were me, I realize it would be coming out of OSAC funds, but if the marijuana ballot initiative passes, and I don't know if you know this, but there's a group that's been heavily getting donations. They've raised over $1 million, $1.2 million to get this thing over the finish line. I'm hesitant to think about staffing up until we at least know where we are with that. But I think long term,
Well, and with that said, though, I think we should always, the marijuana thing is not permanent. It's gonna pass one of these days.
right.
Um,
Just in the short term, if we're talking about
Right.
priorities, I just, I'm literally counting the days until we know for sure what that's going to mean for us. So that's it.
I'm really just want to say really grateful for y'all's help this last year. It's been a phenomenal change, and so it's really great. And just like, I don't know if we want to put this as a priority, but just like the subcommittees that we have established, like making sure that, our goals and our objectives, blah, 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 and all those things kind of happen now. I don't know if that's belongs on that list, but
I think it totally
that's
does.
an
And I
important
had,
priority for us.
So what did you call it? Your what?
Let's just say subcommittee support.
I had
Or
literally
I don't even know what
told
to call
Tim
it,
that.
subcommittee.
I had literally told Tim that this afternoon, that should be on our priority list.
Yeah,
And then-
I don't
I
know
forgot.
how-
And then we both forgot
Yeah.
about it.
So can you explain to me, just because I'm trying to understand, what does that mean?
So we've established these new
Good question.
subcommittees and we
Okay.
haven't met in them individually yet.
Okay.
But we're just trying to get more organized, trying to figure out who's gonna do what.
Get 'em going.
What the focus is, how we're gonna establish our priorities, that kind of stuff.
So one thing to consider, and I totally honor and respect what Counselor Chandler is saying is regarding staffing. That would help with that to really get it moving. What Skylar said is, and we've done this with a couple of people, they get a 1-year contract only. So it's a 1-year contract and then they don't go any further until they know where the budget lies. So if that's something that may help, I just don't know where staffing is to help
Well,
you
and I
move there.
think I don't think you're talking staff. So
Okay,
Right.
Good.
like,
Okay, then
yeah,
never
I
mind.
mean, it's-
like we get our acts together and we make it happen.
Yeah.
okay, perfect. Sorry. Thank you
Right?
for
Is that,
explaining.
is that what you're going?
Yeah, I mean, just to.
We
and
support each
continue to
other.
Work of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
Thank you.
my question, the payment on the or the Iron Mountain thing that finishes December and that payment is roughly
34 grand.
What
Is
was
it?
it?
I have a,
Something.
I don't have it memorized. I'm sorry, but yeah,
Pretty
I
sure
can
it's
look at
34
it real
grand.
quick.
Something.
I have it on my computer. I can look.
You budgeted for it this year. You will not need to budget for it.
In 2023. Oh, so good. That's off
And
your.
we had thought that that was over in June or July, but it
One
wasn't.
more.
So December is the last payment?
Yes.
Oh, good. I know.
So one thing on the subcommittee though,
Nancy just texted, it's 55 grand.
There you go. See, Nancy knows it all.
the subcommittees will still need to be staffed. Because more than members will gather and stuff. So just something to throw out there again. We're pretty stretched. So
Staffed and posted and minutes and, okay.
But our subcommittees are still only once a month. So one subcommittee will meet 1 month and then we won't
it's
have a
not
meeting
more
till the
staff.
next month. It's still once a month.
Oh,
We didn't add any meetings.
Can I ask a quick question around regards to subcommittees? Do the subcommittees want me to be there? Yeah. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't think
curious.
we're that far along.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just,
I think you might, so,
I'm just putting it out there that I'm happy to do that, but you certainly won't hurt my feelings if this is. you just need
so
to
these are
flesh
not
some
extra
out.
meetings. You know that, right?
Oh, I thought you actually
They
were
take place
physically meeting.
of our Monday meeting.
There's 2 subcommittees.
Right, so so I'm asking what's it gonna look like and what would the OSAC
1
like?
month, one meeting, subcommittee, next month, the other, and the third month, the whole committee.
Got it,
So there will never be, and it's always on Mondays.
So that,
okay, that
and the
answered my question.
committees
Then-
report to
the big
all of
group.
those.
Okay.
There's like
Got it.
immediate voting.
So maybe subcommittee, organization.
Yeah.
So I don't think Judith needs to be at the subcommittees. It's just
Yeah,
the
structure.
one big committee meeting when we get together.
Okay. Okay. Anything, ma'am?
Well, right now.
Anything else? Nancy, do you have anything? Nancy's hand is up. Nancy.
Well, it never went away. So I
She's
don't
on
know.
mute. Nancy, can you hear us? Did she hear us? She texted you. Does she have anything to add?
While I'm texting her, I think we need to, 'cause we've always had kind of in the periphery is Creek Walk on our priority list. Even if we're not taking action, we always have it in the background as a high priority.
Yeah, because it's always on there. So it,
'Cause
yeah,
it
it needs
might-
to be on the list.
Something might come that we have to move on it.
Yeah.
I think we've always, as a group, said, yeah, it's a big priority for the citizens of
I think I'm unmuted.
Ah,
Wait,
yeah, you
yes.
are. Do you have anything?
That was- It was really hard.
Oh, I'm gonna send you a picture of this.
Do you have
Okay,
anything to add, Nancy?
I can't see the priorities. No,
Oh.
but I just want to second what Shannon just said. That we've, the Creek Walk has been #1 in the post plan now for many years. And it's just, in my opinion, got to be one of our priorities. I mean, that's what the people wanted. And we're steadily marching towards that goal. And we've got to do what we can to keep getting there. That's a big one to cross our list. That's for sure.
The Serpentine Park. extension.
That segues right into that.
Yeah.
Serpentine.
These, can I add one more? This isn't necessarily something to get to next year. I put it pretty low on the priority list, but I want it to carry over into 2024. But the post plan is for an update.
Oh, are we gonna get a grant for that?
Someone might.
DOLA is a great opportunity for, yeah, DOLA would be a great opportunity for a grant. So that is the post plan update.
Those are typically every 5 to 7 years when we update master plans, and we are at 7 years. Next year we'll be at 7 years.
So we're getting ready to do an update for plan managers, so there might be a all application to do both updates.
That'd be a good idea.
Do you want to, Nate, or Denise, the Rainbow Falls that you wrote up there?
Yeah, you want to mention that, Scott?
Well, this is all part of the Grand West End master plan. So we have the Serpentine property, we have Higginbotham Flats. I pitched the idea of taking over ownership of Rainbow Falls from the county. That would be another recreational amenity on the west end. Didn't know if it would go anywhere, just kind of threw it over to Denise and said, hey, if you ever get an opportunity to run this for the county, it would be pretty great. Another good selling point for a staff position is that person could have ownership and management over your Rainbow Falls area. So, if you have any updates.
Yeah, I don't, and it's not something that we've even discussed, right? So it's not something I don't think we want to go out and say, we're gonna take Rainbow Falls without us. But I think it was just to have that conversation with you tonight. Is that something you see that might want to pursue? It would probably take 3 years, 4 years, right? It's not something that could happen tomorrow, for sure. But I don't know if that is something that OSAC would want to pursue or not.
Have we heard from the county if it's something they wanted to do?
No, we have not had that. I don't want to have those conversations until I hear from this group and others. If that is something that they would be interested in. As you know, it was closed most of this year, just due to rocks falling and.
Even when it was open, it's hard to get.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's.
El Paso.
It's El
County
Paso
Parks.
County. So I think it just is starting conversations, right? And again, I don't expect that to happen in a year.
Right.
It's 4 years out minimum for that. That's a big opportunity with lots and lots of discussion that would need to take place to even see if they're even interested, which they may not be.
And they bought it for $1, right?
Yeah,
So just so you guys know, it's not a lot of money.
But when you think about just, think a couple years down the road,
Big
Creek
picture.
Walk Trail, Serpentine Trail, Higginbotham Flats, Rainbow Falls, that west end will be fully recreational to our residents. And again, we start thinking a
Super
couple
big
years
picture,
ahead.
yeah.
and the parking, I mean, those are all the things that we need to discuss as we go forward, because they have a parking up there, but it parks everywhere, right? We have people that park on Serpentine. That's a safety issue. So there's lots of conversations, but I think it was just putting it out to this group and say, hey, is that something you even like? Is it not? You want to say no? Just where do you fall with that? I don't know if it's a priority, because it really just starts, we need to start with an initial conversation first.
And could it be, can we have, I don't know how to word this. Could there be some priorities that are like floating around in clouds back here, like the Creek Walk, maybe Rainbow Falls can go in that too. Like, we are not actively building trail or buying anything, but it's there waiting for, if the opportunity arises, we know that we've talked about it and it's somewhere that we would like to have the discussion if it arises.
Yeah, you can say if this, start at least seeing where the conversation lies and how it moves. It's probably, the conversation wouldn't even look at probably March next year.
Right.
Because everybody right now, I can tell you, every municipality is working on budgets. And the last thing they want to do is take another initiative or have that discussion because of the time commitment that it takes to get budgets ready, prepared, and conversations as you're going forward. So nobody's going to focus on this. Those type of conversations. Anyway. Okay, anything else that you would add? Anybody?
Well, I would add that whole, a lot of people don't know about it, there's a whole system of trails back behind the Walton project. And there's some property that's come up for sale now and then off of that access road that goes to the water treatment plant. Pick it up. And so, I mean, just, it'd be great if we could get that land back. And, there's quite a bit of it. But I don't know. It's just something to kind of be aware of.
That's a huge, and I think it's a huge for us to play, and this is where the casualness of land acquisition comes along. We're waiting to see who passes away and who gets what. I mean, honestly, right? I can't really spend it any other way, because when that happens, there's a bunch of family members that are going to do different things with each little parcel. And that's where our relationships, you might have a relationship up there already. Everybody knows their neighbor, especially you guys that live on that side of town. Get friends with Dave, know who's up there. And you can say, hey, man, but they already have a subdivision plan up there that's been approved.
So do I put land acquisition?
Yeah. That's
And
another
do you
one
have a
that's-
subcommittee? Is that one of your
That's part of the
subcommittees?
subcommittee, and
Okay.
that's,
So
land
that's
acquisition is
Part
always
of the
in.
subcommittees that you would be working on, so it's really not another goal, because that subcommittee would be managing that. Is that true?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
identifying parcels.
I think land acquisition is one of those that's always here.
always there looking. Okay, if there's not any others, this is what you have. You've been given a pen. You have $100 to spend. You can spend 100 on one item because you say that's the absolute one, and I want to put all my coins in that one. You can break it up in $5 and vote for every single one, right? But that's not going to get us where we need to be. So, or you can say there's $50 I want to put here, 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 or hey, I got 4 goals that I really want to hit, so I'm going to do 25 each. Then I'll do a quick addition of where that is, and it will give us an idea of what you prioritize. I would say 4 goals max, don't you think? Skylar? 4 goals max. And Nancy, can you send Skylar how you want to spend your money?
Yes.
Okay, so text him how you would like to spend your money, and then Skylar will go put it up there. So you have
Can I ask one question?
You bet.
So Creek Walk is on there and Serpentine is on there. Could they be combined into one thing, or are those 2 separate things to vote on, 2 separate projects?
How Skylar described it was 2 separate, but Skylar, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, I would say they're separate but connected, because Creek Walk is more of I think you're getting at phase 4 and 5, right? Serpentine is its own separate trail connector.
Serpentine is about the master plan, right?
Yep, designing.
With
the trail.
Higginbotham?
Yep.
Right. So Serpentine is the master plan and Creek Walk is the finishing of,
4 and 5, yep.
okay.
Hold on 1 second, Nancy was that, so Nancy, Serpentine's master plan would cost about $50,000 to do that trail, is that correct? To design the
Okay.
trail. And then
what's the-
Para is spending money to design Higginbotham.
Right. And how much is the Creek Walk?
That's just like a background priority. There's nothing to take action on Creek Walk yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
I
So
always had it as that background priority.
it doesn't even, okay. So
How
we're
much
not
is it?
even voting on it.
How much is in your budget? Is that what you're asking, Nancy? Is what's needed for your budget?
What's needed for your what's
There's nothing
needed
actual
for,
in Creekwood.
yeah, what, just if the city was asking for a certain amount of money or estimated that we need to give a certain amount of money to Creek Walk somewhere, I guess.
Did we check with Dole? I know most of that's coming from PPRTA.
I don't think he's counting on those.
I don't either.
Other-
Yep. I think
Okay,
it's-
so that's fine. Okay, so there's no point in voting on it because we don't have any money to spend on. There's no money needed to be spent on it, right? As a priority? If this is making sense.
So you don't need to vote on it because there's not money. Could you just verify that tomorrow with Dole so we can make sure? I think he has all PPRTA money coming for that, but I could be
Yeah.
incorrect.
Well, and we helped buy the property,
Yes,
the Whale's Tail, so that was our contribution. Okay, that's it.
yes.
Yeah, just on the Iron Mountain Trail connection, that little trail we were talking about going from up to Iron Mountain from the old Inman Trail.
Yeah.
We're just talking about, the only thing we're talking about doing right now is the alignment, which would be $5,000 to $10,000, right?
For design. Yeah,
Just
is it trail
design
alignment?
the alignment, yeah.
You said 10.
Yeah, I would say probably 10. 10 to 15. I guess.
So basically, we're just doing a feasibility study on,
Yeah,
So
it's
this is
small
a
connection.
feasibility?
yeah.
And Denise, while we're at it, can we put, so I guess my question, like, we need to put like Black Canyon, you said that was 40 grand,
About
50 grand on Black,
Where is Black Canyon?
the
Okay.
Black Canyon
We
master.
This
usually
is
put numbers
50,000?
so-
Yeah, because when we say 4 priorities, if we're paying
right.
someone to do a master plan and we're paying on Black Canyon and Serpentine, we're not doing any action. We're just paying someone to do something. So that doesn't mean, I don't think those should take up space in our priorities of actionable things. If we're just writing a check to get it done.
But they do take staff time. So you have to acknowledge that the staff time to do it, the, public meetings, pulling it together, presenting, that,
Okay.
the RFP, so think about every time we do an RFP, to
Right.
write the RFP, plan 5 hours of staff time.
Okay.
And then you have to go through once you get them, then you have to make sure that you rank them. Because those are held for 7 years because they're core requestable and you can be in a lawsuit.
Yeah,
So everything takes time as you go forward. So,
but when you hire the company, you're paying them to do it.
but you still have to oversee them. You still have to do open meetings or public meetings, which takes time. I don't know how much time,
Right,
but they do take staff time.
okay.
Yeah, but something like, something where we're just being people to do it. Maybe it's not our highest priority, but it's also, we want to get this done anyway.
Right.
Because it's a low cost item and we can get it out of the way and we need to get that
We can
done
have
for the
like,
next
what are
step.
we saying, like 4 top priorities, but that doesn't mean we don't do the other things on.
Yep.
Correct, yeah, I guess kind of coming out of today, we need to know what is the most important project for you next year? What is the second most, third most, fourth most? And then there's some other things that may trigger getting it done. Like if we get a GOCO grant for Wildcat Gulch, that shoots to the top because we have the money and someone lined up to do it. If
Right,
we don't, is it still important for OSAC to get done? And then we'll find another way to do it without the grant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but and then not to sell it, but to sell it, you need a master plan for Serpentine. You haven't told us that, but you need it because someone's doing something up here, something's happening over here, and we're the missing link. Is that fair assessment of that?
I would say yes. Only because there's, like you said, it's the missing link. There needs to be a couple things that happen in order to get that project. And like I said, that project is perfect for a GoCo grant when you package the two together like that. I believe GoCo will pay 80% of that project, which is over $1 million.
Yeah, but you have to have the master plan to
Right.
apply.
To apply.
And I guess just for perspective, GoCo has funded a lot of projects managed over the years, like Soda Springs and a few others. They have changed their model. They're funding way fewer projects. And they want you to think in terms of one project every 7 years. So it has to be a big project that impacts the entire community and provides accessibility and, you know, diversity and a lot of that. So hearing the new criteria, Soda Springs Phase 2 does not fit that in. Some of, you know, our other projects that we're looking at in our parks don't fit that criteria. The one that does is Higginbotham Flats, because it's our last park in the community and would be a neighborhood park on that side of town, and the Serpentine Trail, because it provides accessibility. So when you think of it that way, we cannot go after GoCo until the master plans are done.
Should
And then-
Higginbotham be up?
Should what?
No, that's,
No, that's Para.
That's fair.
That's Para. How much is the post-plan update? How much will that be?
I would say 50.
Oh, I would think more, but you think only 50? I think more than that.
I mean,
I don't,
I don't know, put 100.
that's what I'm thinking, is 75 to 100.
75. is
Yeah,
what
it's
I
not
would
a-
say is minimum.
It's just an update, but yeah.
That's why we want a DOLA grant to help with it, which is a 50% then cost. It's an update, but it takes so much public involvement, which is what really, you want to make sure you have plenty of public involvement. We posted it, we have it online, on and on and on, that goes with that. So that's why I'm thinking 75 to 100. DOLA, if we got the DOLA, we'd get half of that. We'd have to pay, you'd have to match half. And that will take a lot of staff time, maybe not so much SAS, but it will take a lot of the executive director's time. And SAS too, for the public outreach, so yeah.
Okay, just to make sure, just because something's low priority, doesn't mean we can't just pick it off. If we have the
if
opportunity.
noxious weeds didn't win any support,
We
we would probably still have a goat lady.
You would probably, you could still have a goat lady and say, okay,
Or
but what may happen is Skylar or Skylar's
bring the
replacement may say, we don't have the staff to support this and to manage it. Right? That isn't your highest priority. Here's what we have right now. If you want to do that, it's going to take, 10 hours a week. I don't know. Or especially if it's during summer, which is the highest time.
Yeah.
So then we'd have to say, are you going to hire somebody part-time? Are you willing to bring somebody in part-time to help with that? Those are the conversations that allow Skylar to have of saying, as you met, here were your priorities. Here are the things, yes, we can bring a goat person in,
Yeah.
but during the summers when they come in and it's going to take this amount of time to
Yeah.
manage. Okay, does that make sense?
Can you hear me? Can't hear you.